Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is a special episode. We got two dinosaurs today. First one I'll talk about is Minmi. And Minmi, basically named after a crossing in Australia. And basically this dinosaur is found in Australia. And basically habitat probably would have been the woodlands of Australia back in its time, in the early Cretaceous, 120 to 115 million years ago. Approximately about 10 feet long, probably would have weighed between 500 to 1,000 pounds. It's a herbivore, basically, plant-eating dinosaur. Characteristics of this dinosaur is basically, it's a primitive ankylosaur, basically, and you see it's an armored dinosaur. It actually has like these scoots and spikes on its back and on the sides, and a little bit on the tail. But even though this one would probably be more of like a nodosaur, basically. A primitive form of the ankylosaurs, but basically kind of like the ancestor of the ankylosaurs. And so this dinosaur basically has the ankylosaur features, basically the armor on the back. Its main weapon is its tail, and its body armor, of course. Short legs, short front legs, and somewhat long back legs. And then basically it has the kind of that typical ankylosaur small head. And so pretty much ankylosaurs with their heads compared to their body size, they're either medium or small compared to their body size. And this actually has to do with the characteristics of their brain. And you see CAT scanning the brain cases of ankylosaurs, you actually see that the ankylosaurs have very small brains compared to their body size. And that's kind of a key of basically what does its brain use for. And basically all it does is actually it uses its intelligence is based on instinct, not really too much of like what the raptors pretty much do, because they probably would have been able to have the ability to do coordination and also problem solving. But basically where ankylosaurs, they didn't really need a whole lot of intelligence to actually kind of go into their environment. So basically all they cared about is basically just eat, mate, and pretty much survive. That's all they actually were able to do. And with the ankylosaur brain features, basically has a heightened sense of smell. Basically ankylosaurs have a very acute sense of smell, and so pretty much ankylosaurs would have been able to sniff out the scent of theropods that were basically kind of near the area, and basically once it sensed it, then pretty much with its sense of smell, then pretty much it'd actually be getting ready for defensive mode if the predatory dinosaur is getting closer. I really don't know that much about the predatory dinosaurs in Australia. I need to look that up a little bit more, but I actually do think that some of the dinosaurs that they're finding in Australia, I think they're actually getting really, really cool, and considering some of them are actually pretty big. And with and another sense for ankylosaurs that they use a lot is actually their sense of hearing. They have good sense of hearing, so basically they have good sense of smell and they have good sense of hearing. So basically they can smell and hear anything that's coming near them. But the nagging thing about the ankylosaur brain is basically when you look at the optic lobes, or the portion of the brain devoted to the sense of sight, is basically very small. So pretty much these guys could not see very well, and the only modern animal today that actually has this kind of those kinds of the senses like that is the rhinoceros. And the rhinoceros, basically they have good sense of hearing, they have good sense of smell, but they have very poor eyesight. And reasons why is that that basically they need to see things up close, and that's pretty much what they are. They're nearsighted. They don't really need to see very far in order to actually see what's going on. But maybe what Ankylosaurus probably had as an early warning system, probably birds or small pterosaurs, probably were like on the back of the Ankylosaurs and probably gave them an early warning system, like they'll chirp or screech of like there's a predator coming near, and basically the Ankylosaur would just be like, okay, there's a predator nearby, gotta get ready, you know. And pretty much Ankylosaurs, pretty much basically like me, probably actually did stay low to the ground, because their weakness is their underbelly, because their underbelly would be relatively soft skin and basically could be easy for predators to actually bite and claw at the underbelly. But basically, if you're low to the ground, then basically the predators might not be able to lift you and overturn you to actually get to the good stuff in the underbelly. And so Minmi probably actually did that most of the time, and probably did actually survive mainly just to actually pretty much just to eat, mate, and then survive. That's all it did. And of course, extinction for this animal, basically, if it was living, considering that Australia at that time was connected to Antarctica, and basically probably some of those times we were probably seeing dinosaurs probably migrating for times when it gets cold, and also times when it actually starts getting warmer. And so that's pretty much, I think, what probably happened. And basically, probably the climate changes got so dramatic that probably Minmi couldn't actually survive much longer. And so that pretty much actually kind of costed Minmi to actually survive a little bit longer. And also probably predators were able to overturn it a little bit more. Probably gotten stronger and all that. So pretty much in Australia is kind of a hard spot to actually find dinosaurs, but even though more discoveries are actually being made there, and that's pretty cool. Now the next dinosaur that we're actually going to talk about is actually a dinosaur called Shantungosaurus, and in Greek means shantung lizard. Basically found in Asia, probably right around China. Late Cretaceous period, 70 to 65 million years ago. And considering for the size, this is the largest Hadrosaur discovered so far, and basically the length of this beast is actually 50 feet long, and probably would have weighed at 15 tons. 15 tons. So basically, this is a heavy dinosaur. And of course, it's a herbivore, and pretty much it's a large Hadrosaur, and so pretty much probably used its size most of the time for a weapon instead of actually its tail and all that kind of stuff to avoid predators. And you see the predators around that time were basically tyrannosaurs, and basically like Tarbosaurus. Tarbosaurus would probably be the enemy of Shantungosaurus more often. Shantungosaurus adults probably use their size to actually avoid the predation, and also probably pretty much like Tarbosaurus probably wouldn't even actually go after an adult. They would probably actually go after smaller juveniles to actually take down, because those would be the easier ones to take down. And of course, with Shantungosaurus being a hadrosaur, has not that many natural defenses, basically no armor, but it does have a very strong tail, and I would think it probably could use noise as a defensive weapon as well. Dr. Robert Bacher actually suggested that hadrosaurs, having those hollow skulls, probably used infrasound as a weapon to avoid predation. But usually, but even though there is there's some truth to that, but even though there is some things that just don't seem right there. See, modern land animals today don't usually use infrasound that much as a weapon. They just use it for communication. And so that usually what Shantungosaurus and all Hadrosaurs probably used infrasound for was probably for communication. And that's what they were really good at, was communication. And so that's what they were probably doing more often, and they probably lived in herds, and probably as many to probably between 10 to 20,000 members. But even though with Shantungosaurus' size, probably might be a little bit smaller of a herd, probably maybe like to 5,000. So pretty much they were basically almost kind of like the grazers of the Mesozoic. And so they were, and basically like all duck-billed dinosaurs, they chewed their food because they have all those battery of teeth inside their jaw, very, very small. They're just in a bunch of rows, and they can replace those teeth just like all kinds of dinosaurs. And pretty much this dinosaur was pretty much with the environment of pretty much of like raptorial dinosaurs and Tyrannosaurus. Raptorial dinosaurs, I'm not totally sure, I can't remember the species name of some of the raptorial species in China at that point, but I know Velociraptor was actually kind of around at the last bit, but even though it actually became extinct at 70 million years ago, and I think pretty much a new type of Dromaeosaur probably was around, but I'm not totally sure. I need to look up the name of that. And of course Tarbosaurus was around at that time, so pretty much Tarbosaurus would have been the big enemy. And then pretty much Extinction. Basically what happened to all the other dinosaurs around between 66 to 65 million years ago was basically that a giant meteor crashed down to Earth and basically just caused like these numerous events to actually cause the extinction of the dinosaurs. Basically shock waves, tsunamis, you got like the debris coming down from the sky from the impact, and huge amounts of earthquakes, probably pretty much higher than 10 magnitude. And so that's pretty much, I think, what happened. And then pretty much all dinosaurs became extinct. Some dinosaurs probably did survive after the impact, but they probably didn't last very long. And so they probably were around probably like within the probably like a time limit of probably between maybe 100 years to possibly maybe to 10,000 years, and that's probably it. And pretty much that in our modern day dinosaurs that we have right now are birds. So birds are the descendants of dinosaurs. So good thing that they're still around. Alright, that's it for now. Next week will actually be an answering questions episode. So if you got a question about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinochris71@gmail.com, or other ways you can go on the Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you can actually post the questions in the comment section on any Facebook post, but remember, keep your questions short and to the point. And also, you can follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. That's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff there. And also, take care of the people around you. And also, for you younger people out there, make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. Those are the best motivators you can have for a good education. It's very important to have a good education, because with a good education, you get a good job in the future. All right, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next week.